Hello everyone, it's my first little video recording. I'm going to try and start up a YouTube channel. I've got a couple of assistants today. Nellie, do you want to say hello? This is Nellie. She's going to be sitting in and keeping me entertained. Now, some of you have already seen that while I've been in isolation, along with most of the world, as an artist, I've been trying to think, other than watching telly and getting bored and a bit depressed, I've been trying to think of things to do. Had a bit of a mental block, artist block, but then I thought, I've got to sort out all the rubbish I've got in my studio. And I have all these little mini portrait heads that I use from classes as demonstration pieces, and I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to place them in a little frame made from recycled scaffold boards that are actually the leftover scaffold boards from when we built my studio last year. They're all the offcuts. So I've cut them into shape, nailed them together like this, and then you'll notice that there's on the front there mesh, and then I've got two little birds that I've made that sit on the top. Now, a few of you seen of how I've been making them. I've done little videos earlier, but I had quite a few people ask, how did I make the little clay birds without firing it in my kiln? So I'm going to let you know what I did. Okay, so I went outside and dug up, I actually got it off the farmer's field, just some clay. Now you can tell the difference between clay and mud, because clay in Essex, I don't know what it is in different parts of the country, is a more yellowy colour, and the mud has a lot more organic material in it, so it tends to be darker. However, for what I'm doing at this method, it actually doesn't matter what you use. You could use sand, mud, clay. The important thing is it needs to be dry. So here we go. What I need to do is bash this up and make it into like a clay dust. So there's different ways of doing this. So I don't make too much mess, I'm just going to pop this bit of board on there like that. And then I'm just going to pop a tea towel so it doesn't go everywhere. Then I'm going to get my rolling pin. Give it a good bash. See, it's crushing that up nicely. I'm going to take out any little bits of stones because I don't really want them. I want it to be as fine as possible. And then I'm going to just roll it. Now I could add water to this and use it as clay. The only trouble is for what I'm using it for, I can't dry it out or make it so that it stays as it is. Because the trouble is with clay, when it dries out, if it gets wet again, it'll just turn back into clay or it'll just disintegrate. So I want it to have a bit of longevity so that it'll survive the sculpture, but without putting my kiln on. So anyone could do this. Right, so there's all my crushed bits of clay. And as I said, I'm sure you could use sand. In fact, you could let me know what other things you could use to create a similar material that you can mould and manipulate like I've done with these little birds. So I've got some more clay here that I've already turned into powder. Now, what I'm going to add to it is, which I had lying around my workshop, is some clear silicone. You could use any silicone you've got, this is just a DIY bonding fixing sealant. But what I recommend that you do while using this is wear gloves, because we're going to be mixing it by hand and you don't want to get this all over your hands. Now this stuff sets quite quickly as well, so as soon as I've mixed it, I'll use it. So I'm just going to squirt a load of the clear silicone into my powdered clay. I think that's enough. I think I can get 2 little birds out of that. Put the lid back on so it doesn't dry up. And then what I'm going to do is just mix the clay. Now this will get all over my gloves, but I'm trying to get enough clay dust on it so that it doesn't get too sticky. And I'm just kneading the clay into the silicone. Well, my assistant didn't stay for very long, did she? I wouldn't recommend children doing this because the silicone obviously has solvents in it, but anyone who's got rubber gloves can have a go at doing this. Right, now I don't want to mix too much clay into it because if I mix too much in it, it goes a bit too dry and cracks. So you've got to experiment a bit. Right, I reckon I've actually nearly got enough there. So what I'm doing now is I'm moulding this, really mixing it and kneading it. Right, I'm going to divide it into 2. And then I'm just going to mould it into a very simple little bird shape. Little head. And you wouldn't be able to get much detail with this purely because of the sort of stickiness of it, but it's ideal for what I'm using it for. And then just a tiny simple little beak, just the essence of a little beak. There we go. I think you can just see just a very simple little bird, which was just clay mixed with the DIY sealant. Now that will dry out over the next 24 hours and will be a really quite firm little sculpture. There we go. And there's the other little bird. See, that didn't take long at all to do, just from mud from outside and some silicone. And I'll leave them for 24 hours to dry and then fix them. What I do is I drill a hole in the bottom tomorrow, and then I can set them onto 2 nails that have been hammered into the piece of wood there with some glue and plop it on top, and there it is. I'm done.